Hello, fabulous superstar Sagittarius. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of June 2023. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. It is a remarkable astrological month, without a doubt. Big moves happening in the sky now, and this is a very special time, especially for you. Right out of the gate on the 4th of the month, we have a full moon in your sign. Now, normally you get one full moon per sign per year, and this is your moment. A time of truth, especially emotional truth, emerges now. How you really feel about a matter, especially where it is that you haven't wanted to look at it or admit it to yourself. This is the moment where it is obvious to you. Now, here are some key takeaways with this particular full moon. It is involved in a grand trine in fire. So you've got the full moon, you've got Mars in fellow fire sign Leo, and then you've got Chiron in fellow fire sign Aries. The three fire signs are lit up with this larger configuration, speaking in supreme harmony with each other. So this is very fortunate energy. It's energy of blessings and protection. But because this is fire energy, it's also of owning your own power, taking action, taking steps. It has to do with recognizing something within you that is worth fighting for, or if you don't like that conceptualization, that is worth moving forward for, taking effort for, winning for. And so this is some remarkable and powerful energy, but it's also very healing energy as well. It is about owning your own agency, trusting yourself, taking action from that place. And whatever truth you are coming to understand, it looks like it very quickly gives way to not just healing, but action as well. And in the process of action, you're healed that much more. But we also have a challenging connection with Saturn, and that gets a little tricky because Saturn tends to bring with it harsh, sometimes harsh, reality checks, but it's also a need to practice patience or restraint. I think of Saturn as delayed gratification, and for you, with Saturn at the foundation of your chart, that need for patience, for delayed gratification, can feel especially strong, but very deep within you. A part of you will know if it's right to wait, and that may be part of the energy of this time. Whenever you have a full moon in your sign, it brings to the surface what matters to you most, what matters to you first, and also issues of identity as well. Well, this can be one of those moments where those very matters having to do with identity stir very strongly for you. You're getting very clear on who you are. Now, thankfully, because we have all that beautiful energy of the grand trine in fire, well, it looks like you're being defined in ways that you really like, that make you feel strong and sure about yourself and about whom it is that you are. And so this can be an enlivening time, an uplifting time as well, and a time that strengthens you from the inside out. It helps you to get honest, but also clear about whom it is that you are. And some of those answers may feel challenging. It may inspire you to practice more patience, or you may become aware that there's a need to practice greater maturity or responsibility. And yet, these are the very tools that ultimately are going to help you to feel clearer and stronger, more sure about the power within you to move towards the self that you know yourself to be. As we navigate further, it is on the 18th of the month that we have this month's new moon in your opposite sign. Now, this new moon is speaking in a conversation of tension with Neptune. Neptune also at that foundational part of your sky. And it is speaking in a conversation with Pluto as well. It is one of quick energy that desires to be integrated, but also resolution as well. Pluto is moving through a financial part of your sky. And so very quickly, Where it comes to a one-on-one alliance, money matters may come to the surface at this time. Now, whatever transpires at this time, in some way, you're understanding your alliance with another person differently. But here's the thing, that square of Neptune can be tricky. Sometimes it can suggest confusion, and sometimes it can suggest disappointment. With that Pluto quincunx playing out, some of this feeling of needing to pay attention to another person might be financial. It could be that there's money owed, or you're aligning with someone for shared prosperity and you're trying to figure out how to make it work, and you want it to. You're hopeful that it could, but at the same time, it feels disillusioning in some way. Trust yourself and be yourself above and beyond anything else. And that's the tricky thing, actually, with this new moon. Yes, of course, you should always do that. Trust yourself and be yourself. But at the same time, there's this sense of your own intuition and your own fears all kind of merging together. And this comes forward, especially in the context of one on one alliances. Where it comes to business partnerships and professional alliances, there's going to be that much more a need to stay diligent and honest with you. Where it is that you are continuing on with an alliance or moving towards an alliance with someone, but a lot of it is based on hope, not necessarily based on the evidence and what it is that's showing you is true. And of course, if it's a business partnership and you're being asked to bring a lot of money into the mix, that feels not comfortable to you. Like if it's easy for you to do, of course, whatever feels right for you to do. Just because it's easy doesn't mean it's right. But yeah, of course, whatever is right for you to do. But if it is that it feels in any way unreasonable, or your intuition, your spidey sense starts tingling, that is a moment where you may want to take a little bit of a step back. You have more time than you think you do. So pace yourself and be yourself. That's another thing that I like to say as well. Now, I did want to be sure to mention Jupiter because last month Jupiter changed signs. And of course, I have told you I will walk through these big transits for you as we go along, month to month here on YouTube and week to week in the superstar space. And there are special horoscopes there and on my website as well. So thank you for your enthusiasm with that. But yeah, I'm going to walk this journey with you as I have month to month for so many years now. And so let's talk about this energy because it is playing out in a part of the sky for you that has to do with your daily life. And it is your work life and also your health that is being opened to big boosts of positivity and positive developments as well. We have two key dates to keep in mind here. Under the light of the new moon on the 19th of the month, there is a beautiful alignment between Jupiter and Saturn. I love this energy for you, I have to say. This is so hopeful, but it's stabilizing as well. Given that this comes on the heels of that new moon that has energy there that can feel nebulous and disappointing, this is going to be just the anchor you need to feel strong. Saturn at the foundation of your chart, Jupiter in that daily part of your sky. If you work from home or with homes, this is a time of stability and prosperity. Clients, customers, coworkers can restore that sense of stability and balance for you as part of you sharing your journeys with them. Taking a bit of a step back, on the first of the month, we have an extremely fortunate celestial event taking place. This is Jupiter and the North Node meeting in the sky, a once in 7 year event. And when it takes place, it speaks powerfully to a doorway opening from which new people, places, things, situations enter, which represent karmic blessings. Now, it isn't always obvious right away in the moment what it is that you're actually happening, right? What it is and whom it is that actually is going to be the source of those wonderful new beginnings for you. But it becomes very important to cast your net wide, strive to meet as many people as possible, and put yourself in different situations as well. This provides the universe lots of pathways from which blessings can find you. Sometimes it's not obvious in the moment that you've met someone of consequence. And sometimes it even takes years to look back and realize that this was when the seed moments occurred. But the seeds are definitely there. They're being planted at the very beginning stages now, and they can reap wonderfully as part of your pathway forward. Now, where it comes to matters of love, we have that new moon. It is a very powerful energy, and that is going to be dominant in your opposite sign where it comes to understanding love. But here's something else to take into consideration. Normally, Venus spends about a month per sign per year, moving all the way around the zodiac over the course of a year. It is going to be on the 5th of the month that Venus will enter fellow fire sign Leo, a worldly part of the sky that your sign has a natural affinity for. And it is going to be here that Venus is going to spend 4 months. And why is that? Well, the upcoming retrograde season, that's why. Whenever you see a planet that normally, like clockwork, moves at a certain rate, all of a sudden spending a lot more time, that's a big signal. Take a step back. That's a big signal. A retrograde is coming. It's a big signal that it becomes a time of reflection and of going over old ground. Now, what is that old ground? Well, the old ground kicks up this month because it will be on the 20th of June that Venus will enter shadow. The 23rd of July, Venus will go retro. And the first days of September, Venus will return to where Venus is the last days of this month and will go direct at that time. And at that time, you will see the events of the last 10 days of this month differently in some way, especially in the context of love. As we navigate further, it is going to be the first days of October that Venus will end shadow, ending the larger Venus retrograde season, and right after that, leaving fellow fire sign Leo. So we have here 4 months. Strap yourself in. Get ready for a journey with Venus in that very worldly part of your sky, adventurous part of your sky as well. And so this energy is rather remarkable, hopeful, strengthening. I love this energy for you. And it's energy that invites you to be that much more open to love wherever it might find you, anywhere in the world. But the larger Venus retrograde season is a bit of a doozy. I will talk about this in a special horoscope. I'll talk about it as we go along as well. But yeah, it's a doozy. We've got some challenging connections there from Venus and very big power players that are repeated again and again and again. Now, some of that energy, though, before we even get to the retrograde season, we start to feel it right out of the gate because as Venus steps into this brand new part of the sky, we'll immediately stand across the sky from Pluto, an intense energy that could stir you very deeply at this time and make you look at what you really believe about love philosophically and whether or not that's working for you. And that's true regardless of your relationship status. And so now, in the context of this month, though, I'm going to focus more on that new moon that happens on the 18th. It is by far going to be a more obvious, more dominant energy in the context of love for this month for Sagittarius out there. So for those of you open to meeting someone new, what a remarkable time this can be. Now, that is very much about new connections being made. Whenever we have important lunar activity in your opposite sign, someone is there to help you to understand where you are in love, how you feel about it, why you think you are there or not. And a lot of this energy is about new beginnings, but there's also an element there of disappointment, as I mentioned. And so, whether that is the fears that you bring to this moment, whether that's the disappointments of the past, it is this energy that helps you to acknowledge them as part of moving forward from here. And chances are there is going to be a key contact with another person that awakens all this understanding for you, but also this is a time of connecting with your power to transform. deeply from the inside out, feeling changed as a result of what takes place under the light of this new moon. For those of you just starting to date someone, what a remarkable time this can be. I think this is very much about understanding what you're going for in partnership and what you're going for in love. This new moon brings with it these mixed energies, as I've described. Now, for some people, the disappointment energy may not be a big deal. It could just be you make plans and it doesn't work out. Yeah, it's a bummer, but you find a way to navigate forward. For others, though, it's going to feel a lot more consequential and a lot more meaningful than that. And so, this is a chance for you to connect that much more deeply to an understanding of self, an understanding of what it is that you're expecting from this person, where they're reasonable, where those expectations are not reasonable, but also to get honest about what you're bringing to this moment and what they are bringing as well, and whether or not it works. Remember, once Venus goes into shadow, that's when it becomes a lot about whatever's happening. You see it differently eventually later in the retrograde season. During the retrograde, breakups that happen tend to not stay broken up. That's more true for some signs than others, but certainly you are one of the signs that may find a resonance with this as well. And so, yes, it's always up to you to decide what's right for you to do in light of your unique circumstances. But at the same time, if you really feel that there is not a connection here, I think that would be very evident at the very beginning of Venus moving into this part of the sky. And it becomes that much more clear with the new moon as well. So the 5th and the 18th and the days that surround it are key in helping you to understand whether or not this is someone you want to navigate forward with. At the very least, a lot of this energy, even though there's that disappointment there, there's something honest about what emerges now. And for those of you in an established bond, what a remarkable time this can be. And so the energy of the new moon in particular ends up being important. That new moon energy helps you to really understand your partner and yourself, what the expectations are, where they're reasonable, where they are not. The overwhelming majority of Sagittarius are going to find this a time where it just feels like connection is a little bit more elusive. Sometimes that is because of things happening in your partner's life. Sometimes it feels as if there were plans, but then they fell through, and that can be part of the disappointment of this time. There is going to be a measure of Sagittarius, though, that might be doubting or questioning their relationship and striving to tap into a deeper wisdom as to whether or not this person is someone to navigate forward with. It is the minority, it's not the majority of Sagittarius. Keep that in mind as well. But whatever it is that you feel, understand it's a moment to learn about yourself and your partner. This might be one of those turning point moments where if you've had one too many disappointment, all that disappointment could stir very strongly, raise a lot of emotion for you now. But ultimately, you are navigating forward. This is on the precipice of the very beginning of the Venus retrograde season. And again, whatever you may think is happening in the last days of this month, chances are you'll see it very differently once we navigate to the first part of September. I'll be here to talk about it every step of the way. What I love about this month for you, there's so much here. It's a valuable and meaningful astrological moment. I am going to say there's just so much here, right? But Jupiter is your ruling planet. And Jupiter speaking in supreme harmony with the North Node is remarkable energy. It is rare and it is all about doorways opening from which new people, places, things, situations enter, which represent karmic blessings. And they are on offer in a big way now. Stay open to the possibilities, the potential, the excitement of this time. And chances are all those pathways you create will bring massive blessings in the fullness of time. Well, thank you so much for watching. You can get a video like this each and every week for each and every sign for as low as just $3 a month with Choose Your Membership rate. Now, higher tiers get you things like all access passes to Synchronicity University events, consultations with me, and so much more. All of this in the Superstar space at NadiyaShahSuperstars.com. Links are in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. It'll be a great month. Enjoy.